Hi everybody and welcome to Virtual Sunday School. Well, like I did last time, I'm going to start off with a question. And that question today is, can a smart guy do dumb things? Well, how about me for instance? I think I'm a pretty smart guy. I mean, don't ask Presbytera, but I make these videos and I do all this stuff. But what if one day you came to church and in the front lawn of the church you saw the statue to the Lizard King? And you're like,
Father Angelo, what's going on with that?
I'm like, well, the people across the street, they like lizards, so I want to make them happy. And I'm like, well, it's kind of weird, but all right. And then a couple of weeks go by, and then all of a sudden, there's another statue, and it's to the great Chihuahua King. And now you're like,
all right, Father Angelo, I think you're kind of like losing it here. Why are you doing that?
well, the next door neighbors on the left, they like Chihuahuas, so I want to make them happy. Now, by now you're thinking, what kind of stupid story is this? But we're going to tie it in to this famous and wise King Solomon that we've been talking about in our previous videos. So as you remember, God granted Solomon great wisdom, and he used that wisdom to do great things. And one of those things was that he fulfilled King David's dream, and he built the first great temple of Jerusalem. And so Solomon had it made. He had this great golden throne. He had 1,000 wives, 1,000 mother-in-laws, and the kingdom of Israel was united. But as Solomon grew more powerful, he forgot his place in God's plan. And so he started doing things like marrying women who he didn't really know. And then those women, like for example, one of them came up to him and said,
I don't really know too much about your God, but in my land, they celebrate the great god Milken.
Solomon's like, who's Milken?
He said, well, we don't really know, but, he's a teeny god, but he's got big feet.
So Solomon built a temple to the Milken. And seeing this, Solomon's other wives came to him and said,
well, what about building a temple to my God? And what about my God?
And Solomon did that. He built these temples to these other gods. And doing this, Solomon forgot the 10 commandments. You shall love the one true God, and you shall have no other gods before me. And now you can see the problem with the Lizard King and Father Angelo's crazy idea of putting these on the front lawn of the church. Anyway, God saw Solomon doing this, and he punished him by scattering his once great kingdom into many different tribes across the world. So this brings us back to our original question. How could the wisest man in the world do something so stupid? Well, let's look at our own lives. Haven't you ever wanted to hang out with your friends, but you knew that you had to study for a test, and you ignored what the wise thing to do is, and you ended up hanging out with your friends anyway? So here's an example of where you knew what the wise thing to do was, but you did something else. So we have the same thing in Solomon. He was wise enough to know what the right thing to do was, but he ignored that advice and did what was not right. In the end, even though God punished Solomon for what he did, we as Orthodox believe that God in his infinite mercy forgave Solomon because he saw that he was repentant for what he did. And this is the same lesson for us. Even though sometimes we do stupid things and don't listen to our wisdom, we can always repent and do the right thing. And the wise thing to do now would be to like, share, and subscribe. I'll see you soon.